Liverpool look absolutely amazing, don't they? 6-3 away from home in a title running. You feel that it's almost inevitable that Liverpool are going to go big in the Premier League this season. If not, they've already won it, in my opinion, because from top to tail, they just look so good. They look world class. There's at least 6 or 7 players that are operating at world class form. Diaz today was unbelievable. Salah yet again. Szoboszlai, McAllister, Virgil van Dijk, Trent, Alisson. It was absolutely electric. Even Andy Robertson had a good game today as well. And ultimately, Spurs can put 3 past you. It's an entertaining scoreline, but let's be completely real. Liverpool blew these lot away on a whole different level. We're going to break down all the goals and where it sees Liverpool in the Premier League title running. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Really appreciate it. 9 goals to talk about. The first one, Trent, the ball into Diaz. The header is world class. Kills Forster, who stood there like a big plank of wood. Oak wood. And look, Trent is an interesting one because I felt like he got a little bit vulnerable against Fulham the week before, a little bit, particularly from Robinson, who was fantastic. And you felt that Son could get a little bit of joy, even with Jed Spence, who's looked good in the last few weeks for Tottenham. And Trent could have given a free kick away against Maddison just a minute before, potentially. It's a debate for sure. Even if it isn't, it doesn't matter. I think Maddison was getting in and around Trent for that little period. And then bang, Trent just goes up the other end and whips it in. It just says it doesn't matter. If you're top of the table, you can afford a luxury like Trent. If you're 21st in League Two, you can't have a right back, who's a little bit defensively susceptible, like Trent potentially is. Even though I don't think it necessarily is that true. But all I'm saying is, you go from one end of the pitch where you wonder maybe Spurs can get in here a little bit, like Fulham. And bang, he whips this ball in. It's David Beckham in it. It's David Beckham stuff. It's a beautiful header. And at that point, you just know the game is Liverpool's, whether it's a high-scoring game or it just finishes 1-0. Liverpool just in cruise control, really. Let's be honest. I know it went end-to-end a little bit, but a couple of those goals felt like consolations for Spurs, in my opinion. The ball from Robertson for the second goal, absolutely sublime. Szoboszlai wins a header against Jed Spence. Should never be happening. Even though Szoboszlai is a little bit underrated, in my opinion, for his physicality. Because he came in against Man City and his running, his pressing, his legs. You always feel that Szoboszlai is maybe that kind of creative, that kind of the maverick type. But he's actually a bit of he's an aggressive, physical specimen as well. And he wins the header. McAllister gets in between, taps it in with his head basically. And Forster should be doing a lot better, in my opinion. Completely in no man's land. I think this guy had his head in the clouds. I think he was lucky. He felt lucky to be playing this game, to be honest with you. I don't know what he's doing at Spurs. Sometimes it says a lot. A big club does need a second choice keeper who is better than Forster. It's not. A couple of years ago, you could get away with it, 10, 15 years ago. But now you're asking these guys to, if anything happens to your first choice keeper, you're asking the second choice keeper to do a lot more than they ever used to do. So when Forster comes in, it's all well and good. 20 years ago, I think he would have been a decent backup for Spurs. Now you're asking him to play out from the back and be completely exposed. I mean, he just looked completely out of his depth today. Liverpool give the ball away for the third goal of the game. Maddison with a great little finish. He's been in great form in recent weeks. You did wonder if Spurs could get up there a little bit more and create more of their own. But in reality, Spurs got back in the game because of Liverpool, because of an unforced error. It was a great finish, but I never felt that Spurs in the first half were going to make it 2-2 or get Spurs right back into the game, in my honest opinion. Later on in that half, again, Szoboszlai wins this long looping ball in the air. He wins a 50-50 with Dragusin, who's been brought into this big Romanian centre-back powerhouse. And I think he's good on his day. I like Dragusin a lot. But he shouldn't be losing the header to Szoboszlai. I'm sorry. He's got to clean the guy out. He has to take a yellow card. I'm not sure if he was on one before that challenge. I doubt he was. You have to, he wasn't. So you have to clear the guy out and stop the overturn of the ball. Because Salah takes it and then plays this beautiful little inverted ball back into Szoboszlai, who nutmegs the keeper. From that point, it really is game over. But the interplay between Salah, Diaz, Szoboszlai is absolutely outrageous. Diaz could be aggrieved he didn't get the pass from Salah, but I think he was a little bit offside. It's genius from Salah. It's a genius little inverted pass. And Szoboszlai, a great finish. You could see him scoring a lot more goals than he currently does for Liverpool. No question about it. The fifth goal of the game, this is from a Gakpo cross second half. I got Archie Gray rolling about, trying to clear it. He should do a lot better of a job. I'm not trying to slag the guy off because I like Gray a lot. He's got England captain written all over him in the next 10 years. He really does. He's that good. He's been fantastic, whether right back, centre back. He's a midfielder, by the way, from the Championship last season, Leeds United. So you could see him definitely not being on the goal line against Liverpool, trying to clear things out like he's Ryan Shawcross. But he was in that position. He looked a little bit clumsy, and he should be doing a little bit better, in my opinion, just to avert danger. The ball bounces off him. He doesn't clear it, and bang, Salah tucks it away. Salah scores another one, but it's very similar, actually. Szoboszlai into Salah, the 6th goal of the game. Liverpool smashing these lot. Embarrassing, really. It was 5-1. At one point, I thought it could be 10. I mean, the way Spurs were capitulating, there will have to be a debate. And let me know in the comments what you think. But there will have to be a debate about Ange Postecoglou's future at Spurs, because the speed of the capitulation. I think the 3 goals for Spurs, particularly at home, has alleviated things. The Kulusevski goal it comes after. It's a beautiful little inverted ball over the top from Solanke, and he smashes it. It's poor defending from Liverpool, but I think that goal in particular is what I'm trying to say is a big advertisement for Ange Ball, because at any minute Ange Ball gets you goals, gets you entertainment. So I actually think, weirdly, I think if they'd lost 4-5-0 without the goals, then it really looks like a lot of pressure on Ange. But the fact they scored 3, I think, alleviates a bit of the pressure, and it's just like an end-to-end game against the Premier League champions elect. But at points it was shockingly bad defending. It was embarrassingly bad defending. This is a big institution of a football club. This is Tottenham Hotspur. I know they're bottle jobs, and I know there's a lot of jokes and humour around the club for obvious reasons. They've not won the league title since the 1960s, but in reality, it's still a big institution. You have to set yourself out to be hard to play against and not be as easy to be ripped open by everyone all the time. Whether they can get out of it and outscore you at the other end is a different debate. It's just not working, this philosophy. Brennan Johnson wins a header against Andy Robertson for the Solanke goal as well, which was a good little finish, actually, bouncing in the box. Does it allude to maybe Andy Robertson? You can get it, Andy Robertson, a little bit Gomez. I mean, if that's where we're going with criticism of the defence, then I think it's quite marginal. But, Fulham found joy. Spurs have found joy. All I'm saying is, when it gets really crunch time, January, February, Liverpool do need to start getting more clean sheets back into the game. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's a bit of a wobble at the moment. Newcastle conceded as well. All I'm saying is Liverpool will just have to shut up shop a little bit, be a little bit more ruthless. I know Konate is a massive miss, but Curtis Jones, I think, offers a lot of protection as well with his work rate. Eventually, look, they'll be fine. It's the Christmas period. They keep winning games. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is, especially if Chelsea keep going on a run, clean sheets will eventually be the backbone of a Premier League title race, or winning the race, in my opinion. I have to talk about the Diaz goal. It was beautiful. It reminded me of the goal that was unfairly ruled out for him last season, I think it was, where he smashed it across his body into the far corner. Diaz, when it comes across his body on his right foot, when he laces it, absolutely electric. Everyone, we talk about, Yamal coming on his left foot. We talk about, all these players that cut, when it comes across their body and they open up their body and they curl it into the far corner. We don't talk about it when you have to lace it kind of narrow across your body. It's a very, very hard technique. Curling it in feels a little bit easier for some reason. And the fact that Diaz gets this thing this ball across the face of his body and he smashes it into the far corner, it's a beautiful, beautiful finish. Leicester City and West Ham United for Liverpool in the next few weeks. Those are 6 points guaranteed. I do feel Chelsea have got a little bit of a slip in them. Obviously, we saw that this weekend as well in terms of the points for Chelsea against Everton. I think it was a draw. And I don't think Chelsea have got the ability to mount a title charge. City have got the squad, no confidence, no fully fit players to do it. And Arsenal as well. I don't see Arsenal doing it. So really, we are just every week talking about Liverpool getting closer now. They just look like a side that can win the Premier League. They look like a side with confidence. The way they fought back against Fulham, the way they absolutely ravished Spurs today. It was embarrassing at points. It was like a lion chasing a gazelle with David Attenborough commentating. Do you know what I mean, on BBC One, Planet Earth? It feels like that a little bit. It was grim. It was really grim to see. Mauling Spurs, and throughout the side they've got a midfield that's got control, balance. He's got it spot on with Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister, who's a big loss. When they don't have him, they do look like a different side. And that front three can be anything. As long as Salah's in there, it can be anything. Jota can come on, Nunez can come on, Diaz can play down the middle. You can just mess around, Gakpo, whatever you want. Because as long as Salah's there, Salah is now reaching that level of top 5 in the history of the Premier League. He really is. He's getting closer every week now to Cantona, the Rooneys, the Henrys. Whether he surpasses them are debates for different videos. I don't necessarily agree that he has. Gerrard, Lampard, De Bruyne. He's getting into that territory every week. It's just ludicrous. And I think this title win will be big for Liverpool if they do win it, because I think ultimately their fans never saw it happen in the stadium. And to have that moment of fans seeing it live, I think is special. That Liverpool have never had, and that's no banter. But they've not had that in the Premier League era. And I think it's special. Salah retiring in the next few years. Let's say he retires from Liverpool in the next 3 or 4 years, leaves Liverpool. 3 or 4 Premier League titles. It's far better than a COVID title. So these titles really do matter to a lot of these players, in my opinion. Particularly Trent and Van Dijk, who could also leave. Who knows? They're big titles. Alisson could leave as well. Joe Gomez. Premier League title 2, Premier League title 3, Champions League 2, FA Cup 2 or 3. I think they're important numbers just to get Liverpool in that discussion of the great sides of a generation, as opposed to just an anomaly in the history books. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, tons of content coming out around Boxing Day as well. I'll see you very, very soon.